Hello and welcome. This is the Big Story segment on BDTV, a trusted platform for breaking down key issues shaping our economy, industry, and nation. I am Bethel Olujobi, and in our Big Story today, we will be looking at the police implementation of third-party motor insurance. We will understand the meaning, effect on vehicle owners, and its benefits to the nation's economy. The police on Saturday began the enforcement of the third-party insurance policy across the country. Police commissioners in several states, including Lagos, Kogi, and Akwa-Ibom, told residents that they would commence enforcement on February 1st in compliance with a directive by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. According to the police force, failure to comply will result in strict enforcement actions, including fines, penalties, or both. The initiative aims to ensure vehicle owners adhere to stipulated insurance requirements, safeguarding themselves and other road users. The police had earlier given vehicle owners up until January 31st, 2025 to comply before starting enforcement on February 1st. Well, to help us understand this very well, we're joined by guest analysts here in the studio and online. We're joined by Olusoji Oluwole. He is the president of the Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions. He joins us online. And here in the studio with me is Mr. Modestus Anisoronye, who is the Insurance and Policy Editor at Business Day. Good morning, sirs. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr.
Bethel.
Modestus.
Thank you for having
Mr.
me.
Oluwole, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for
having me.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Mr. Anisoronye, for being here in the studio.
It's a pleasure.
With me. Well, getting right into it now, I'll start with you, Mr. Oluwole. Now, we know that insurance penetration in Nigeria is estimated at about 0.5%, whereas in places like South Africa, it's about 12.2%, right? And this is low for a population of over 200 million people compared to South Africa with just 60, right? So can you give us an insight as to why insurance seems to be struggling in Nigeria?
Well, it's very simple. People do not understand the value of having insurance. So you find out that many people who take insurance policies simply do that out of obligation and not wanting to run foul of the law, rather than take it from the point of view that they're actually protecting themselves and they have something to fall back on in the unlikely event of an incident that will require some kind of financial commitment on their part to redress the situation.
And Mr. Onisori, what do you have to say about this situation right here?
Yeah, thank you very much. Just like he rightly put it, is a challenge for the Nigerian insurance industry. The issue of penetration, and what has happened over time is they make up believe that it is lack of awareness. But having been in the field for a very long time, I think for me it goes beyond that. Yes, there's lack of awareness about the value of insurance, which a lot of people have not been able to appreciate. But then the key issue is about the environment as well. In other places like South Africa, just as you mentioned, the environment there is more convenient for people to take insurance. And what drives insurance is a credit system. In any society where there is lack of access to credit, insurance hardly thrives. So in those places, people who want to buy mortgage, who want to buy laptop, who want to buy telephone, get these things on mortgage. And when you take mortgage, you are compelled to take insurance alongside with it. Beyond the culture, which has developed over time because of their long stay with foreign in that country. But that is to say that Nigeria have a long way to play in trying to drive penetration. One is more awareness is needed, but the environment, the economy has a way of helping to drive insurance. Because people spend on insurance when they have enough to take care of other basic needs. Here, people are struggling to meet basic needs. And when the basic needs are not met, people don't consider paying for insurance for something they are not sure of happening. So you see them taking religious upon their head, to cover whatever in prayers, and you and I know whether it has helped. That hasn't helped.
No, that brings us to the topic today. I want to understand what the third-party motor insurance policy means. What does it mean, and how does it work?
Yes, third-party insurance is a mandatory insurance policy that is meant to be taken by all motorists or vehicle owners that apply on the Nigerian road. It is a provision of the 1968 Insurance Act and Section 1(2) of the 1945 Motor Insurance Act. What this means that every vehicle that applies on the Nigerian road, whether private or commercial, should have insurance against eventuality happening and for the protection of the third party. Who is the third party here? The vehicle moves in the course of moving on the road, there's an accident. The third party ensures that the victim is compensated. If it goes to the extent of damaging people's assets and properties, the third party insurance pays. And if it also goes beyond that and killing or taking life, somebody dying in the process, the third party motor insurance, covers that situation. And that is why it has become necessary that every vehicle in Nigeria should have it. Not necessarily protecting your own vehicle, but for the third party who may be a victim of accident or a kind of loss in the event of moving, along the road.
Okay. Now, from your explanation, Modestus, it is
Yes.
clear that third-party insurance is essential. Now, Oluwole, you're still on the phone with us, right? General acceptability is still poor among vehicle owners in Nigeria. Who really? So who is at fault here? Is it the vehicle owners? Is it insurance companies or industry regulators?
I'll say a combination of all. Now, we spoke about penetration. We've spoken about enlightenment and so on, because I was listening to the submission earlier on. There are quite a number of things that I believe will come together to enhance the acceptability and the penetration of the insurance system in Nigeria. So he spoke earlier on about availability of credit. He spoke about having the kind of funds, what I want to refer to as disposable funds, to be able to put into insurance and all the rest of it. So that brings us, when we look at the insurance industry itself, how creative has the insurance industry been in the financial sector to come and say, oh, I'm working with this financial institution or with this bank to create that same kind of credit for you. So they pay for your insurance, you pay for it over time, and you are insured. We collect the money, we insure you, and we do that. On the part of the regulators are just doing what they should have done a long time ago, because when we're comparing with a country like South Africa or even going to Europe and America, the rules have always been very, very clear. I recall that in the UK, if you are found on the road without insurance, your car is taken away from you. There is no issue of fine or anything. It's going to be crushed because you pose a danger on the street. So the regulator is just beginning to do what they ought to have done a long time ago. Now, on the part of the insured, again, like I said earlier on, a lot of them do not understand the importance and the benefit of having an insurance policy. Go to the road today and just ask a regular driver why he has an insurance. He will tell you because government says I should have one, not because it covers him, just like has been explained that you are covered if you hit somebody, you are covered if somebody dies or if somebody is injured or you damage somebody's asset with your car and all that stuff. A lot of people do not know that. So that lack of understanding itself is a problem. And that's why today you see accidents on the road. And the first argument is you must fix my car right now. You must take me to your panel beater or whatever to fix it, not realizing that that matter could be resolved within 5 minutes simply by exchanging insurance policies and endorsing it that this has happened, and it is presented at the individual insurers to take it on.
But now in some states, we've seen that some vehicle owners don't even bother about buying or purchasing a third-party insurance, right? And in some other states, the situation is a lot better. So tell us about what's happening here and what you think could be responsible for this disparity.
Again, I think it's an enforcement. So let's use Lagos as an example. Today, because of the kind of database that Lagos State has created and the infrastructure they have put in place, the cameras and all the rest all around, and of course the enforcement of having MOT and all, you have no choice than to go on and have it. You miss your insurance by one day and the camera picks you, you pay a fine of 20,000. Now 20,000 versus having to have spent a minimum of 15,000. That's if you're having just the regular third-party insurance. We are not even talking about comprehensive insurance. All those things are already in place. You go to do your vehicle check, your annual vehicle check for roadworthiness. Those are things that they are going to request for. So you'll find that penetration in states that are enforcing all those things and making sure that they are in place. But for others, they're probably just laid back and are not bothered about the importance of having those things. And quite frankly, not having it has its own impact on the economy itself and on individuals in their financial activities. My co-moderator here spoke about people not having the disposable income, but they'll rather go and spend it elsewhere. But they need to also understand that that simple 15,000 or 5% of the value of the policy might be a drop in the bucket if indeed an incident occurred that required some kind of compensation to the third party. So all these things need to come out. So all parties have their roles to play, really.
And I'm sure, Mr. Modest, you have some things to say about what's going on here.
Yes. Mr. Soji pointed very clearly some of the challenges in states and which Lagos has done better, than others because of the technology in place that captures whoever has a kind of insurance, or not, yes, as you move along the road. But I think one of the key challenges which I see is about the same awareness. People have been carrying over years, have genuine third-party insurance, and even in the issue of accident, they don't even go to insurance companies to make claims. They don't appreciate the fact that insurance companies could pay, because before night it used to be 5,000 naira. Then when you pay 5,000 naira, they don't imagine that what will 5,000 naira do when there's a damage. Whereas that 5,000 naira, by the nature of this policy, can take care of a lot of expenses, even up to 1 million naira. So as it is today, if you pay 15 million naira and there's a damage onto a third party, you can make claims, that will shock you, over 3 million naira. So in case there is death in the issue of an accident, somebody dies, the insurance, this third party of 15,000 naira is capable of paying whatever is the cost for that life in terms of burial settlement and settling the family. So I think that awareness needs to come. I'm sure with this enforcement, what is going to happen now, people are going to pay the money, and when they pay the money, I think they will become more conscious of the need to make claims when claims arises. And the insurance companies actually pay. And for some of the insurance companies, if the claim is no more than 200,000 naira, you can get it within 24 hours. In fact, they don't need to come to the scene of the accident. As the moment you snap the vehicle and send to them, hand over the policy details to the victim, claims are paid. So people should begin to realize that, yes, I'm paying, I should be able to make claims when an incident occurs. And if that happens, a lot of people will begin to realize that, yes, insurance works. And I can tell you it works. Only that people are not aware. At the point of accident on the road, you see people fighting and quarreling, whereas the simple process is, sorry, you have hit my car, this is my insurance. Right away, they call the insurance company, the numbers are there, that so and so incident has happened at so and so place. this is the photograph of the incident, and from there, the insurance company will contact you either to tell you the workshop close to where you live, where you can put your vehicle there for repair or for whatever incident that has happened. And within a short period, this is sorted out. So Nigerians should begin to realize that insurance works. And when you pay the premium of 15,000 for private vehicles or 20,000 and above for commercial, depending on the class of vehicle, you should be able to go for your claims. And I'm sure it works.
Now, does the motorist have the right to sue an insurance company in case they refuse to compensate for insurance claims?
Yes, it's your right, because you have paid for the premium. The insurance company owe you the right to pay your claims in the event of an accident. And if they don't, there are places you can take your complaint to. The National Insurance Commission have a conflict bureau where people that have complaints take to them, and they follow up with the insurance companies and make sure that such claims are paid. The Nigerian Insurance Association also have complaint bureau where, in fact, they have chief judges, retired chief judges that head that unit in the NIA. People can go there, file their complaints, and it will be attended to. So rather than going to court, you have the first and second option where these things can be resolved. Where they don't respond, then you have the option to go to court. And people have won insurance companies in court. But as it is today, insurance companies do not even want their names to be dented. And the regulator itself is very hard on any insurance company that don't settle genuine claims. The issue is about genuine claims. There are claims that are not genuine, where people go to take insurance policy in, like if for this kind of third-party insurance, you take it in two or three companies. When there's a claim, you can only get compensation from one insurance company. So some people go and insure here and insure here. When claims arise, they go to this insurance company, they go to another insurance company. It doesn't work like that. Take genuine insurance cover from a registered insurance company in Nigeria. Preferably, walk into any of the insurance companies or call them by their contact line. You can get the policy even while sitting in your office, rather than get it from vehicle registration centers and VIO offices. There you get a lot of fake, and that has been the major problem with this insurance in Nigeria.
Many might argue that it's playing it safe to insure with several companies, right, instead of one who might, in case of disappointment or refusal to pay. Do you think that is wise? Are you saying that is not the wise option?
No, that is not allowed in insurance. You take insurance for the same policy, like this third party.
Yes.
Take it with one insurance company. That is enough to pay the compensation or whatever that will come out in the event of you are using the car on the road.
And if it does not work, or if there's the refusal, or there's a...
If they refuse,
yes,
you go to the NICOM, the regulator, the National Insurance Commission. If that fails, the NIA, Nigerian Insurance Association, is there. These are places you can put down your complaints, and they will follow up and make sure it's resolved. Where it doesn't work, you have the right to go to court. But I'm not sure any insurance company will want their matter taken to court. In fact, they want it resolved. So as it is today, NICOM is hard on insurance companies that do not pay genuine claims. And they have even asked insurance companies to publish in major newspapers in the country any policy holder that has not made their claims. So you see them publishing list of insurance claims that have not been processed by the owners. So they are really prepared to pay claims, particularly on this third motor policy. You are aware that police is involved, so nobody wants to be embarrassed. And I can tell you it's working.
I'll come back to you, Oluwole. Do you agree that payment of compensation by insurance companies it's encouraging at this time? Do you think it's motivating enough? And although obviously in any scenario or in any sector there's always room for improvement, what would you say is needed for improvement?
From personal experience, I can tell you that it is encouraging. I've had us to lay claims in the past, and I don't think it took too much time. Once or twice that I thought it was going to take time, I went on and I did it, and I was refunded what I actually paid in full. So it's, just like has been said, there are rules governing them as well, and no insurance company wants to be smeared in public because of one claim, because it's enough to lose businesses for them around. What needs to be done, again, is still this issue of enlightenment. Let people know. Let insurance companies even come out and tell us that this is the amount of time it takes for them to process claims. Let them let people know how they can be reached, where they can be reached. So all the things that need to be done to encourage people to come voluntarily and not by force is what is really, really needed to be done at this time.
Mm. And this is an issue, right? The police are out on the street already for enforcement of third-party insurance, but Nigerians are afraid of the extortion, which is kind of synonymous with law enforcement in Nigeria. So what best approach would you recommend to avoid this issue, right, among vehicle owners and the police, the authorities as well, the enforcement authorities?
Yeah, well, the extortion thing is not something that we will overrule. Unfortunately, like I always tell people, we do not have a corrupt police force. What we have are individuals in the police force who have chosen to behave badly. Of course, they were too eager to hit the streets on Saturday to begin checking and probably finding opportunities to cash out. However, when this announcement was made, I felt it was a bit too hasty to begin that enforcement. What I think should have happened was that for at least a month, there would have been some kind of enlightenment campaign between the insurance companies and the police. Now, why I say between the two of them is that you're not going to find an insurance company putting their people on the streets and checking vehicles. So that is the job of the police, to check and to advise people that you ought to do this. Now, on the part of the insurance companies, to probably go into those traffic lanes where you are going to find people. You go to the motor parks, you go to filling stations, where you will always find vehicles. I think in the last 1 week or so, I've been receiving emails, I've been receiving text messages from various insurance companies. But how many people actually have access to these things? A lot of them will actually want to hear the benefits of having an insurance. So I think we should have spent 1 month on sensitization, on educating motorists on the benefits, and probably publishing, for those who do not mind being published, publish cases of claims, showing pictures for people to understand that this thing is genuine and not just some form of taking money from them, because that is the impression a lot of people have about insurance. On the side of the police, I think my own advice is that they need to tread carefully and ensure that they do not put themselves in a situation where they'll be maligned because of the behavior of individuals. Thankfully, I think the current leadership of the police force has taken this thing seriously, and where cases are reported and found to be genuine, they actually take the necessary action to punish the people that are involved. And then finally, on the side of the motorist, my own advice is don't allow yourself to be caught in that web. There are various ways that you can insure your vehicle. You don't need to leave your room. You can do it online. There are insurance companies and agents all over the place. There are insurance brokers, genuine ones. You need to find out the ones that are genuine, really, who are all over the place, that you can carry out that insurance, that can take that insurance policy through. And finally, you can also confirm the genuineness of your insurance policy simply by going online. I think there is a site, Ask NID or something, where you can go and put in the policy number, and it will give you the details. So you already know clearly that what you have in your possession is something that is genuine and not a fake one.
Now, Oluwole, the big story on the big question on the big story today is, does third-party insurance policy, does it really address the big challenge associated with accidents and damaged vehicles in Nigeria? Because in the case of an accident, third-party insurance covers the car or the vehicle affected, not For example, if I was in an accident, third-party insurance covers the person I hit, not my own vehicle. Wouldn't it be better to enforce a comprehensive insurance policy where the owner's vehicle and that of the third party are covered by insurance?
Yeah, so when we use the word third party is what is used in the act. So whether you have a third party insurance or a comprehensive insurance, there's a way it is captured, the way it is captioned, but the third party is always stated there. So I think what is being said is that the minimum that is expected is third party. And back to your question, I think it's something that will be a gradual process. Third party, in the term that you have expressed it, I think is existent in very few countries. I don't think it's something that is all over the world. In some countries, what you will find is what we term as comprehensive insurance. In fact, in some countries, not only does it do you have to pay relating to the vehicle, it involves the people who drive. So, for example, if I insure my vehicle, I must state the people who are authorized to drive. If somebody else is going to drive for a period of time, I'm expected to include that person for that period of time. Some countries will tell you that your policy is going to be based on the type of vehicle, on your age, on the age of people who are driving. There are so many things that look at it. I think for now in Nigeria, what we have is one of the simplest. You just simply pay a flat fee, or you pay a percentage of the insured vehicle, which I think is a start, and then gradually we move on to those areas. And then, of course, the state of those vehicles are also very, very important. And I think while insurance companies and the police are enforcing the motorists to purchase those policies, it is also important to ensure that the vehicles that are being insured are also motorable, not the kind of vehicles that hit the road and you do not know what is going to happen next. So those things need also to be enforced. Otherwise, what you are going to find at the end of the day is that insurance companies are also going to have to be paying out a huge chunk of money simply because the vehicles that they insured were not motorable.
Interesting. I'll end with you and Osoronye. Now, on the discussions we've had, you have anything to add to that?
Yes. What this law is enforcing is actually motor third-party policy. Insurance companies offer other classes of motor policy. There's the third-party plus, which some insurance companies have added to the third party in case you want to insure your own vehicle at not a maximum cost, because comprehensive policy for any vehicle is 5% of the total sum, and not everybody can afford to pay 5% of the total sum of their vehicle for insurance. So what they have done is to extend the third party to they call it third party plus or third party extension, meaning that rather than paying the 15,000, you could pay 30,000, 45,000, and you are guaranteed of up to 2 million or a little above that for your own vehicle in case of accident. So that is what they have done. For those who cannot afford the comprehensive, can go for third party addition, third party plus. So they call it different names, but it is an extension of the third party. Now, on the police and the extortion, people right at their homes or in their offices could key in the number of their vehicle, the registration number, and right there they will know the validity of their insurance, whether what they have is genuine or not. And with this, you will know before you enter the road that what you have is either genuine or is not genuine. So when they arrest you, you either know that yes, you are in for a deal. So for you, the best thing is to take genuine insurance. And for me, if police sees that what you have is a genuine insurance policy, they don't have any reason to extort you. Of course, they will not. Now, but let me tell you why this has become very critical and why the police has come into this. This policy has been there for many years. Police has always been at the point of enforcement. But the seriousness now is coming because police have become major stakeholders in the insurance company. As at end of last year, around November, the police got a license to run an insurance company in Nigeria, which is a general insurance company. So they will also provide third-party motor policy. So they are part of this industry and as major stakeholders. And that is the leverage the insurance industry will take to be able to ensure enforcement. Now that the police is part of the industry, they should ensure that things are done properly, people take genuine insurance, and when there is claims, people are compensated. So for me, it's a good one for the industry. If this advantage can be maximized, it's likely to affect positively the growth of the insurance industry in terms of generation of premium. And for the society at large, there's going to be more protection for road users so that in the event of accident, somebody will be adequately compensated.
Oh, well, very interesting conversations there. Thank you very much, Mr. Anasoronyi and Mr. Oluwole, for joining us
so much
on the show today and for your insights, of course, on the implementation of this third-party motor insurance policy. Well, that's all we can take for today. Do stay tuned for more updates on BDTV. I am Bethel Olujobi.
Thank you.